So now we're at the last video in this section. Let's quickly review where we are by going back to our flowchart. So at this point, so we're still right now at the point where the employee is saying he or she can't reach a website, can't reach their instant messaging server, some resource they can't get to over the network. We have verified that we could indeed get into the router. That's good. In addition to that, we then verified that the interfaces were responsive. They were up. That's okay. We're still having the problems though. Do I have routes for internet access? We have verified that yes, we do have routes for internet access, and yes, we can actually ping the destination. Now we're just assuming here that 8888 is the destination that is unreachable by the employee. But from a router, we can ping it. Okay. Continuing on, can we ping the destination? Yes. Is my router advertising the employee subnets? Yes, it is. Okay. If I make my router look like the employee by giving it the same IP address as the employee, can I ping that destination? Yes, I can. At that point, you've pretty much exhausted all of the resources available to you on that router. There's really nothing else on that default gateway you can do from a troubleshooting perspective. If by making the default gateway look like it's the employee, it can ping the destination that the employee cannot ping, well then it's not a problem with your router. It's not a problem with this default gateway. So at this point, we'd have to go back to, and look, whether it says yes or no, we're stuck with troubleshoot. And at this point, we have to get the employee to help. We'd have to say, okay, are you sure you can't get there? Maybe I've gone through all of this problem and you just mistyped the URL you're trying to get to. Instead of going to google.com, you ended up typing hoogle.com or something weird like that. You know, are you sure it's not you? Some problem between the user and the keyboard possibly? If the employee still says there's an issue, next place I would check that's still within my control as a network administrator would be right here on the switch. I'd say, okay, it's not the router at this point. At this point, I'm going to go now downstream to the networking device that the user is actually physically connected to. Check the switch. There could be some issue on the switch, like maybe somebody hacked into that and they created a VLAN access list, a VACL, which is denying that particular user from going someplace. Maybe they changed the user's VLAN. Well, yeah, maybe they changed the user's VLAN and now the user is in a VLAN that doesn't really exist. They're in an inactive VLAN. Maybe somebody hacked in the DHCP server and this user was actually given faulty default gateway information. They're supposed to be using my default gateway of 1111, but they've been given some default gateway that doesn't actually exist. Maybe somebody's corrupted their ARP table. Maybe someone's poisoned the ARP table, and when this user, he has 1111 as his default gateway, but when he ARPed for that default gateway in order to resolve the MAC address, he got the wrong MAC address because someone poisoned it. Someone sent him an ARP reply that didn't actually belong to the default gateway. But these are all examples of things that the default gateway is not responsible for. The default gateway is working perfectly fine by the time we get to step 17. It's something else that has either poisoned the laptop, given it bad, faulty information, or there's some device between the laptop and the default gateway, a switch, maybe a Wi-Fi access point, something that is preventing this particular host from reaching the resources that he needs to reach. but it's not going to be the default gateway, and it's not going to be upstream. It's going to be something between the default gateway and this host. Now you might be saying, well, couldn't it be something upstream, like on this green wire here, one of these blue wires? No, because in the previous step, I went onto the default gateway, and remember, what did I do? I actually gave the default gateway the exact same IP address as my user. And I was able to verify that by doing that, my router could still get to the destination. So that proves to me that whatever the problem is, it's not upstream, it's something downstream between the router and the host. So now my troubleshooting on the router is done. I have to start doing some switch troubleshooting, or maybe some Wi-Fi access point troubleshooting, or something along that nature.